Hi, I'm Colin Hung with Healthcare IT Today, and I'm sitting down once again with Lisa Esch, Chief of Strategy, Innovation, and Provider Industry Solutions at NTT DATA Services. Lisa, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Colin. It's great to be here.
So today we're going to be talking about the challenge of legacy processes, legacy thinking, and legacy culture in healthcare. I'm excited for this topic, Lisa.
Me too.
So when we use the word legacy in healthcare, I think personally, I think of legacy hardware and software, at least I did.
Right.
But you say that's actually too narrow of a definition, and you want us to kind of realize there's a lot more other legacy stuff in healthcare.
Yeah, when we think about healthcare and just the business of healthcare, there's a lot of legacy there. There's tradition, there's legacy, there's systems, there's processes. And if we narrow the definition just to technology and that in that piece, it's really hard to modernize. And legacy is more than just IT systems. It really is. It's the people, it's the culture, it's the supporting the transformation that we're seeing. So it's much broader than just the systems that support us in healthcare.
So Lisa, why is it so important for healthcare leaders to deal with all this legacy stuff?
Because we're in this rapid digitization of healthcare today, and what's lurking in the bottom and dragging all this down is the legacy systems. And it could be the people, the process, the culture, the technology. And if we don't address modernizing the legacy systems in healthcare, it's very difficult to get a unified digital experience, a unified patient experience, clinician's experience. And digital technology then can be very disruptive and not helpful in the organization as we move into a more digital ecosystem.
So there's a word I want to pick up on that you just said at the top. You said something, digital transformation. And I know before we got on camera, you were telling me that, I think maybe you were saying that we put a little bit too much emphasis on digital transformation and not enough on healthcare modernization. What do you mean by that?
Well, digital transformation is a buzzword. Everyone's talking about it. Not everybody knows really where it's taking them, or the meaning in one organization might be different than another. But if we start with a modernization strategy, you can then really put a roadmap together for this transformation that's happening in the organization, and you can address the aging systems, the people that support those systems that are aging out and retiring. It's forcing us into these discussions that really require some thought on how are we going to modernize that. So modernization is a much broader term and probably more appropriate as a place to start rather than just follow the buzz, with digital. So we have to modernize the culture, the processes, how we work, where we work, what we do, the infrastructure that supports that, all those things that come along with that. But it starts with a strategy. You have to have a modernization strategy, because going too fast with the digital components and buying digital applications that the legacy systems can't support will create some tension in the organization, and you won't see the results that you should see.
I agree. I think I agree with you, because digital transformation to me conjures up an image of, you got to move from analog to digital.
Yeah.
But the modernization could mean, hey, you can just improve your analog process, because in some cases that actually may be the best. You may not have to invest to digitize it. And in fact, you may harm it by digitizing it too soon. So I like that term. I like how you're framing that. And to me, it also says that in order for you to move forward, you first have to deal with this legacy debt. I mean, you can't really modernize yourself if you're running off an old mainframe, or if you don't have the right code base and those kinds of things.
Right.
So what suggestions do you have for healthcare leaders to lighten their legacy load, or to start down this path of modernization?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I think it really starts with just a deep strategy, like a deep plan to figure it out and to really do the analysis of what you have and take inventory of that. And then having the ability to prioritize what you do rather than just always reacting to what's new or what crisis is in the world today, as we all know what the last 2 years have been like. Now we can take a step back, reset the strategy, make sure the strategy, if you have one, is still aligned. And the last couple of years have also really kind of uncovered
Right.
some of the challenges that legacy have provided, and now's the chance to really do that. And there's some very simple things you can do with the strategy, with the transformation, with infrastructure that support the rapid transformation that can happen, the rapid digitization of healthcare experience.
And I think we've kind of proven it to ourselves over the last 2 years, right? Where we've said, you know what, we can actually adapt early and we can adapt quickly. We've shown ourselves in healthcare that, you know, we don't have to spend years testing a
Right.
technology. We can go quickly.
We can go quickly.
And I think that's one of the encouraging things that have come out of the last 2 years.
Right, and choosing a partner that can help you evaluate and figure those things out and be sort of the front of that is really key. And it'll help you with the prioritization and actually the execution of that. Because it's one thing to have a plan, it's the execution that really allows you to be successful.
Of course. So Lisa, you shared a ton of great information today. I really liked where the conversation is going, but what's one thing that you want to give to our audience listening and watching this? What's the one takeaway?
Yeah, there are a lot of bright, shiny objects out there right now. And it's really important to just take a step back and breathe. And if you've got a solid strategy and framework to make decisions with and about, you can pick the right things to do that really will help you accelerate versus end up with a hodgepodge of things that I think I need this, I think I need that, or that's cool. Or from a standpoint of leadership, you've got a lot of highly educated people in healthcare that believe they know the right thing to do and they see something. So there's a lot of pressures in the organization to also do things that don't necessarily align with the longer term strategy. So having that strategy, having that framework to make decisions, having a partner that can help you with that, I think is really key to being smart about it, getting more out of your investments. But it's rapidly changing. Don't be distracted.
I think this is probably the place for it. You know, if we had all adapted the latest shiny object, imagine how much legacy we would have now.
We would have a lot of legacy. We would.
Lisa, last question. Where can people go to find out more information about NTT Data Services?
Yeah, nttdataservices.com. We've got great resources there for you. Reach out to me directly. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to do that as well. Thank you.
Lisa, thanks so much for your time today. Loved our conversation.
Great, thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, please like and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Also, head on over to healthcareitttoday.com for the latest news and industry insights. Plus, you can always connect with us on Twitter at the hashtag #HITSM. I'm Colin Hung for Healthcare IT Today. Thanks for watching.